Hello everyone, hope all of you are doing great. And in today's video, we are going to discuss the workbook of Stage 9, the upper and lower bounds lesson, which is 3.4. Okay, so let's start. Here, in such a question, when they provide you with number lines, all of them are just the same. If they give you the number line as shown over here, they're just giving you the lower bound and the upper bound ready for you. So look at this. They're just telling you that the lower bound is 2.5. And they're telling you that the upper bound is actually 3.5. So there are no tricks at all in the number line questions. The next one over here, they're telling you that a decimal number is rounded to the nearest 10, and the answer is 90. Use the number line to write the lower bound. The lower bound of this is actually 85. And the upper bound is going to be what? 95. Okay, so let's continue over here with the questions without a number line. A decimal number is rounded to the nearest whole number, and we agreed when it's rounded to the nearest whole number, we either add or subtract 0.5. We add 0.5 for the upper bound, we minus 0.5 for the lower bound. Write an inequality to show the range of values. The number can be when the answer is 7. So they have done the first one here for you. For the answer, when the answer is 7, we're going to minus half from it, 6.5, add half to it, 7.5, and this is how we write the inequality. When the answer is 135, x is greater than or equal to minus half from it, 134.5, add half to it, 135.5. Question B. The answer is 28. So let's see about this. This is question B. The answer is 28, so I'm going to write x is greater than or equal to 27.5 and is less than 28.5. The answer of question D. I told you that you're not allowed to answer the homework in the workbook itself and that you must write the answers in the copybook. So now question D, the answer is 559. So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to write here, x is greater than 558.5. This is how I minus half, and it's less than 559.5. This is when I added half. Next one over here. They're telling you a decimal number is rounded to the nearest 10. The nearest 10. So, okay, Mr. Round to the nearest 10, then I add 5 or minus 5. So here, they're telling you it's 50. Minus 5 is 45. Add 5 is 55. 420. Minus 5, 415. Add 5, 425. The answer is this. Minus 5, 3, 7, 35. Add 5, 3, 7, 45. Minus 5, 5, 2, 0, 5. Add 5, 5, 2, 15. All right, the next question is saying to you that the number is rounded to 100, the nearest 100. The nearest 100, mister, I add or subtract 50. So for the lower bound, we subtracted 50, 750. Add 50, 850. Subtract 50, 1150. Subtract 50, 6650. Add 50, 6750. Minus 50, 9050. Add 50, 9150. Vihan, or whatever that name is, works out the area of this pond to be 19 meters squared correct to the nearest meter. Nearest meter means what? Nearest whole number. This is the meaning of the nearest meter in this case, because this is 19 meters squared. So nearest meter is the nearest whole number. So to the nearest meter, that means I'm going to add or subtract 0.5. Let's do it. The lower bound of the area, 19 minus 5 is minus half, 18.5. Add half, 19.5. An inequality, so x is greater than or equal to the lower bound, less than the upper bound. Saria works out the mean number of points her netball team scores each match to be 60 points, corrected to the nearest 10 points. The nearest 10, then I add or subtract 5. The lower bound of the mean, 60 minus 5, is 55. The upper bound of the mean number of points, 60 plus 5, is 65. Write an inequality. So x is greater than or equal to 55 and less than 65. The rectangular cards show a range of values that are rounded that a rounded number can be. The oval cards show the degree of accuracy of the rounding. The hexagonal cards show the rounded numbers. Match each rectangular card with the correct oval card and the correct hexagonal card. Let's see about this. So they're telling you here that the lower bound is 195 and the upper bound is 205. What do you think the number is? It's just the number that is in between. What is the number that I minused from it 5, added to it 5, it became 205. It's 200, mister. So A is actually what? Where's 200 here? It's C. So A is actually C. X is actually 200. And it's rounded to the nearest what? It is rounded, mister, to the nearest tens. Why? Because I added 5 to 200. So this is 200. I added 5 to it, I minus 5 from it. So it is to the nearest tens. So it is C, I. What about B? Here, 415, 425. Mister, it is what? It is exactly 420. Minus the 5 from it, added 5 to it. So it is also to the nearest 10. I added 5, I minus 5. So to the nearest 10. All right, 420 is actually which card? Where's 420? It's A, card A. C, 2,350, 2,450. In between, I got 2,400. And it is rounded to the nearest, where's 2,400? It's E. But it's rounded to the nearest, mister. I added 50 minus 50, so it's rounded to the nearest 100. I. Here I added the number a half, a minus half. It is 24 in the middle. Minus half, 23.5. Add half, 24.5. So what is the number 24? But it's to the nearest whole number, mister. I added half minus half. It's the nearest one. So it is triple I. 24 is actually card B. It is B. And it is triple I, the nearest ones. Here it is 400, mister, obviously. And 400 is F, card F. And I added 50 minus 50. So it is to the nearest 100, which is just I. It's to the nearest 100. That's why I added 50. I minus 50. The last one over here, it is exactly 4,200. And we minused half from it, and we added half to it. So it is to the nearest 1, which is I. 4,200, which is card D. A shop sells bags of rice that have a mass of 500 grams, measures it to the nearest 10. The lower bound, minus 5, add 5. It's the nearest 10. So 495, I minus 5, 505, I added 5. An inequality, x is greater than or equal to 495 and less than 505. This name, Nico, buys 2 bags of rice. So 2 bags. Here we found that the lower bound of 1 bag is 495. Work out the lower bound for the mass of the 2 bags. Lower bound, we found that it is 495, but they want 2 bags, so multiply by 2. It's going to give you exactly 990 kilogram. Sorry, gram or kilogram? It's 500 grams here, so it is 990 grams. All right, work out the upper bound of for the mass of 2 bags. The upper bound is actually 505. We found it up there, 505, but they want for 2 bags, which is going to be 1010 grams. Okay, good. Explain how you work out your answers. You just show it this way. 495, which is the lower bound we found in question A, multiplied by 2 bags that they are requesting. 505, the upper bound that we found in question A, multiplied by 2 bags that they requested. You just show the steps. A shop sells pieces of wood that measure 150 centimeters to the nearest 10. The lower bound 145 minus 5, upper bound at 5, 155. An inequality, x is greater than or equal to 145, less than 155. Carlos and Peep want, or Peep, whatever, want to find the range of values for the total length of 3 pieces of wood. So, the range of values for the total length of 3 pieces of wood. This is what they said. Okay, so they want the range. That means what? I have to find the lower bound and I have to find the upper bound. We found already that the lower bound is what? 145. That's connected to the previous question, by the way. Upper bound, we found that it is 155. Let's go down and see what they did. So they want 3 pieces, 3 pieces. So if I wanted the lower bound of 3 pieces, yes, I'm going to do 3 pieces multiplied by the lower bound of 1 piece, which is 145. It gave him exactly 435. And 3 pieces multiplied by the upper bound, which is 155. And it's going to give him 465. So the range of values is x is greater than or equal to 435 and less than 465. That's what Carlos did. But Pip actually did what? He said 1 piece of wood is equal to 150. So he multiplied 3 by 150, 450. And he said this. Is he correct? Definitely no. So who has worked out the correct answer? Carlos. Explain why. Because they are requesting the range. Carlos, because, explain why their method is correct, because they requested, or it is requested to find the range of values, while 150 is the estimated value. I'm going to erase all of this now. We had to use what? We had to use the lower bound and upper bound for the range of values. As I said earlier, definitely this is a big mess. You must write this answer in the copybook. It can be shorter. You can just say we had to use the lower bound and upper bound for the range of values because 150 is estimated. It is not the actual value. You can just write this, whatever you want. Just the most important thing is that you mention we had to use the lower bound and upper bound for the range of values because 150 is estimated. It is not the actual value. Okay, I'm going to erase all of this. That's going to take so long, I guess. Let's continue answering. All right, the next question here, question 15, says to you, the capacity, a bottle has a capacity of 1.2 liters corrected to the nearest 0.1. What's the millimeter of 0.1? That's tenth, one decimal place, the nearest tenth. So I add what? I add or subtract 0.5. No, I must have 0.5. That's the whole number. Nearest tenth, 0.05 or minus 0.05. So adding 0.05 for minusing, because they want the lower bound first, minusing from this 0.05, it's going to be 1.15. You take away from this 5/10, it becomes 1.15. The upper bound, add to it 0.05, it becomes 1.25. Mister, I'm not good at adding or subtracting mentally. What am I supposed to do? Just you learned in year 5 and you learned in year 6, and also you kept practicing this in year 7 and year 8, that in adding and subtracting decimals, you have to line up the decimal points first. So line up the decimal points. Then I want 1.2. We agreed we add or subtract 0.05. So I want 1.2, subtract from it 0.05. And I put here a 0 in the empty place here. So let's subtract. Minus 1 is going to be 1, and here you're going to borrow for it. So it is 10 minus 5 is 5. 1 minus 0 is 1. And bring down the 1, so it's 1.15. You want to add the same thing exactly, but add addition. That would give you 0 plus 5 is going to be 5, and the 2 plus 0 is going to be 2, and the 1 plus 0 is going to be 1. That's 1.25. That's if you cannot add or subtract mentally, but definitely the easiest is doing it mentally because you practiced this so many times actually in the previous years. An inequality, and that's the easiest part, just to put the lower bound before it, the upper bound after it. For the capacity of 5 bottles, write the lower bound. Mister, the lower bound is 1.15. I'm just going to multiply by 5. The upper bound is 1.25. I'm going to multiply it by also 5. An inequality to show the range of values for the 5 bottles. It is x is greater than or equal to less than. You find here the lower bound, you find here the upper bound. Let's do it. So we agree the lower bound is 1.15 multiplied by 5. Doing this is going to be exactly 5.75. And doing this here is going to give you exactly 6.25. So x is greater than or equal to 5.75 and less than 6.25. This is the answer of the last question. Thank you so much, everyone, and see you in another video.